like Sparrow and Sidewinder, or Hellfire and Harm, Buster and Cruise. But those who know them best, the ones who load them, the ones who use them, have their own names.
These are reach out and touch somebody.
It is, for the most part, an impersonal war so far. The pilots who drop their deadly payloads from great heights hardly ever see the enemy. Yet the flight and ground crews try to personalize it. It is tradition that ground crews and pilots scribble some thoughts on the bombs just before takeoff. Some are poetic, some patriotic, some profane.
It's just our little message to Iraq, you know, letting them know that we're ready to do whatever we're called upon to do.
The messages reflect the frustration and bravado among American forces. Some have religious overtones, some artistic. Others attempt to be humorous. The most poignant evoke thoughts of home and families left behind. There is, for the men and women caught up in this war, a feeling of satisfaction to know that when the jets roar to the skies, their contribution goes too.
In Iraq, General Norman Schwarzkopf revealed he's been trying to psychologically intimidate Saddam Hussein since before the war began. This report from John Draper on the psychological war being waged by the Allies.
Saddam Hussein may be in his bunker, as claimed by Iraqi TV, but the Allies believe he's keeping a close eye on Western television reports of the war, particularly the CNN satellite network. Some observers believe the Allies are using that direct line to him to put psychological pressure on Saddam by personalizing the conflict in their televised briefings.
He put up more aircraft then than he is now by a significant number.
He seems impervious to human suffering.
I think everybody realizes what Saddam Hussein was trying to do.
It appears that he's obviously avoided contact with our air forces.
Today, the American military chief in Saudi Arabia was asked about the use of psychological tactics.
Do you think Saddam is listening to your words now, and are you trying to psychologically intimidate him?
I've been trying to psychologically intimidate him from long before the beginning of this conflict. I think we have pretty well predicted for Saddam Hussein exactly what would happen if he went to war against us, and he didn't choose to believe it, and I think he is, I don't know whether he knows what's going on right now. I sincerely hope he knows exactly what's going on.
And the general continued,
I have no intention of psychologically intimidating him as much as I have of spelling out the simple facts of what's happening and what's going to go on happening.
There is this aspect that it has been declared the war is not against Iraq, the Iraqi people, and then things have been personalized towards Saddam Hussein himself. And you then have a wonderfully mixed signal that at the same time you have people standing up saying, but we're not after him. And this could all be an aspect of psychological warfare, sowing seeds in Saddam's mind and his general minds about exactly what the Allies, how they will treat him.
The Americans previously used psychological techniques in Panama against General Noriega. Helicopters blasted continuous rock music at his home. In the Gulf, the Allies are now planning to use a well-tried tactic of dropping leaflets over occupied territory aimed at undermining Iraqi morale.
KISS FM. This is Jack Hammer, and here in Fort Walton Beach, we support the fighting men and women of Operation Desert Storm.
Fort Walton Beach, a small holiday resort on the Gulf Coast that also happens to be home to America's largest Air Force base, Eglin. The 12,000 men and women based here design and test the weapon systems used by the Air Force. The base is also home to an operational fighter wing. These planes left Florida months ago for the Gulf. Their current role in Desert Storm is classified. What's left is a town that's waiting for its families to return, where everyone is prepared to do whatever they can while they wait. With several units now deployed, everyone here either knows or is related to someone serving in the Gulf. Although they live under the shadow of Desert Storm, for the thousands left behind, life carries on. They still come to Jamaica Joe's. It's a chance to try and relax for an hour or two away from the news of the Gulf.
Life goes on, you know, we come here and my fiance's over there, but, you know, I'm really worried about it, and I just try to get off my mind and try to get our things, but we always think about it and can't help doing that.
We want to go over there and show what we can do. We want to show Saddam Hussein that we still ain't a country to be dealt with.
Comes Sunday and the reality returns. Now it's a time for spiritual comfort. Across the base, the services may be different, but the message remains the same.
Let us pray for peace, that there will be no victims from any country. And let us pray, Lord, that the devastation now even impacting our ecology can somehow be stopped.
Jackie didn't go to church till her husband was sent to the Gulf to maintain helicopters. Now she has to look after their 2 children on her own, and she faces new problems.
What am I going to do if he's gone for a whole year? If he's gone for... If something does happen to him, how am I going to put them both through college?
With such difficult choices, some handle it better than others. Jackie remains firm.
I cried for the first 30 minutes when it all broke out, and I haven't cried since. And I'm not about to, because I have 2 kids I have to take care of. And if I sit down and cry and I'm depressed constantly, that doesn't help them at all.
No one's guessing how long it'll be before life gets back to normal at Fort Walton. In the military, everyone tells you this is what they're trained to live with and expect. But they never forget.